are bringing you to the path you think you do manifest, but actually that path and that sacred plan is already written for you. And this is why you get these synchronizations, because Source is mirroring you that you are on your path, you are on your track. And this is the paradox of it, because you are Source, and this is why you see what is there in front of you, right? Namaste, everybody, and welcome to Kio World, your soul podcast for inner peace. My name is Christina, and I'm very grateful to welcome you for the first time or back in the podcast show. And today I want to share with you 7 questions that will help you to let go and to trust life. So I prepared today this podcast episode by thinking about 7 questions that really helped me in my personal life, that are related at first to things like material things and achievements, and then to the emotional layer of our being, right? Like what kind of things we are holding in ourselves, like memories or pain, and why is it so hard to let go of, and what is it to let go, right? Everyone speaks about let it go, or you need to be disciplined to let things go. And yeah, I recently discovered something for myself that I really would love to share with you today as well, before I will share with you the 7 questions. So yes, I just invite you to, if you would like to pick a journal, to do that, or if you have your phone next to you, to maybe write the 7 questions down that I'm sharing with you. I will really come to the point with each of the questions, and what does it mean, and of course also what detachment means in the yogic philosophy, right? We are speaking in the moment about the 10 paths in yoga, the yamas and niyamas. And I warmly welcome you to also listen to the previous episodes. And today, this topic of letting go is actually a path of yoga, the path of Aparigraha and the path of detachment. And in a yogic scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, is also written that detachment doesn't mean that we also do not have any material things, for example, right? Detachment means that we are not so emotionally connected to the things in our life, like our career, our persona that we made, like our children, even our pets, our friends, our home. This is what it means to reach the place of aparigraha, the place of true detachment. Because if we are also not attached to things, it will be way more easy to let go, because we are trusting life, and we are trusting that this is the natural movement of life itself. And this has to do with a sacred plan and with a bigger plan. And this is why we are all here as a infinite soul, as an infinite being that has a temporary human experience, right? And we need to know that everything is in a constant change as well. And the paradox of it, that the same thing is that at the same time, things stay in a way the same. And I will explain you more what I mean by that. So, welcome to today's episode. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale. Just find a more comfortable seated position, or if you're walking or whatever you're doing, just take a moment to really arrive more in the body, and to take this time for have a date with yourself, to have a date with your soul. And let's dive into it. As promised, before I will share the first question with you, I would love to share with you this thought that just recently came to me. So letting go has very often to do with forgiving, right? We need to learn how to forgive ourselves, and very often we are struggling, for example, to forgive others, right? Especially if there maybe things happened where we feel that they are unforgiving, right? And what helped me is that we need to know that actually we are not the one who are forgiving other human beings, right? You can give the forgiveness part also to source, right? You can give the forgiveness part to source and know that source, God, is the only energy and power that is able to forgive, right? So it's even not something that you need to be bothered about. At the same time, you are a part of source, and you can take your own part in that process. And that part might be by coming into the acceptance and letting that resentment that you maybe hold in yourself, the pain, whatever it is, the disappointment, the judgment, allowing it to let it go and to give it to God, to give it to source. And another thing that might maybe trigger you is maybe a truth that you would not want to hear. However, we are all in this together. We are all small fragmentations of source. We are all interconnected, even with the darkest things that you see in your life and that you think, I really don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that, what is going on in the world. I don't want to identify myself with that. The biggest release and relief happens if you know that you actually are even not able to detach yourself from anything and to let go of anything. In a way, to understand that everything that exists in our world, in our cosmic life experience, like any small little energetic light particle will always exist. So let's say you had an experience in your life, in your childhood, in your relationship, no matter what it is, you had an experience. This experience will forever exist. Everything that is created will always exist. And we can, and I personally, like for me, it helped me to know acceptance is the path. Acceptance is the path of detachment, in a way, also knowing, because this is what we like, also knowing that you can't let it go anyway. It will be somewhere there, right? Like, even if sometimes some people wish other persons, even that the people die because they think, oh my God, this person needs really to be out of this life, right? This is how much grief and hate some people hold into themselves, that they wish the death to other human being. But also just to know, even if this person dies, their soul, their source energy will still always exist, and nothing will be able in this world to destroy that. And that feeling should give you the release of, it is what it is. And you can free yourself by not thinking that this experience is defining yourself, right? So I'm already coming into the questions. So is that like you just can maybe see that part from a different perspective? Like, why is it so hard to let go? Like, right, if you have the video on, then just look for a moment, right? I already gave once that example. Like, I have here this pen in my hand. All right, the process of letting go is actually like this, right? Now, so my cat comes. Exactly. So let's show how we do the letting go process. So the letting go process looks like this, that you let go, right? You don't hold longer onto that pen. However, the pen still exists. The pen is still existing. This experience will still exist somewhere in our life, in our universe. The person will still exist. The experience you made will still be a part of what happened. And but by that but by that understanding, you can understand that you don't have to hold on to it. And at the same time, if you let it go, this is the paradox of our life. This is the duality. This is yin and yang. This is the understanding. This is the understanding of the man and the woman, right? Like, will we ever understand each other, how different we are, and that we are living here together in this world, right? So, this is the understanding to know it will always exist. And you can detach yourself from it by accepting it was there. And by that, the healing part can take place. So, coming to the first question, what am I holding onto that I believe defines my value, right? So, this is now a question for you to detach yourself from material things, from achievements, from any outer experiences, and any expectations, right? What do you think if you have this or that in your life, right? Like, is it that job title, or is it that place where you're living in? Is it that city that you're living in? Is it the relationship you're into? Is it the friends group you're into, right? Is it any identification, any role that you took on that you feel you might already outgrown, but like there is still something that you're not able to let it go because you think this thing is connected to who you are, to your self-worth. And very often, if we are not asking ourselves those questions, right, then we might get stuck in the same places, in the same relationships, in the same habits, even if they are not longer serving us, right? So what do you tell yourself who you are and who you want to be? And is this really still in an alignment with your soul, or is this something that your ego is holding onto and is identifying yourself with? The second question, do I accumulate more than I truly use or need? And for those of you who also observed like my life journey and in the last 5 years and were listening to the podcast when the podcast show was still in German, and who were live with me when I left Germany and moved to Dubai, that I was really going through this process of detachment, and detachment of letting everything material go in Germany, because my soul was calling me to trust life and the movement of life and to follow the pull of my soul, even if in my mind it didn't make sense. And also years ago, I would have never ever thought that I would move once to Dubai, right? However, Source has a plan for us, and very often we understand the plans just when we look back. So I was just having my own studio and retreat space in Germany, and I really put so much energy into it and so much love and time. And I decorated that space. And I still sometimes today think about it because it was so dear to my heart. And it was the dream space. It was the dream space for me. I was seeing the sunrise in the morning, I was seeing the sunrise from the evening. It was like this really, this beautiful open penthouse place. Like it was literally an open penthouse with huge windows, and I was looking out into the hills, and I was just seeing green and nature. And yeah, it was just like so beautiful. And I also shared, I think I shared in the podcast once, it was in the German episode, like how I ended up in that place and how I saw this place actually 8 years before, already in my dreams, before I moved into the place. And however, the point is when I felt the calling that it's time for me to move on and to move out and to leave Germany, even if it's, for example, for a while, which I also knew since I was a child, that I knew one day I will go traveling. And one day I want to see more of the world, which I believe is a dream of a lot of us, right? Like we all love traveling. We all are so same. We say we all have the same things. We all hate the same things. It's just what it is, right? We all have the same desires, like most of them, right? Of course, we're also different, but deep down, a lot of people want the same things in their life. And this is also why, with so many teachings, so many people can resonate. And this is also when we remind each other of these teachings, it helps us, right? I also need to be reminded of teachings. And this is why I also go into my practice and I always check in with myself. And I also listen to podcasts and I think, oh, yes, that this is a good reminder for today. So, yes, I hope this is a good reminder for you today. With me putting so much energy and time and love into this place and into that studio, I could have been way more attached and said, oh, now I put my love into it, I put money into it, I put time into it, and now I'm leaving it all behind, right? However, very often we don't move on in our life, right? We don't move on in our life because we are attached to something. And we are not only attached, like that's the crazy thing. If you are, you shouldn't be attached to good things and as bad things. Because I will give you later a question to reflect about why you hold on to emotions, because that's that's the thing. Material things, if you are attached to material things, this will actually just say that you are also attached to some emotions, right? Your nervous system is attached to certain feelings. You are literally on a physical and cellular level, your cells are attached to a certain experience. And this is why you always go back. This is how addictions are happening, right? So that means that very often people, when they have something in their life that feels good to them, like they are absolutely attached to it, and then they stay with it. And the same thing happens when people are in a miserable situation. They actually don't understand that they are attached to it. There is a blind spot in them that wants them to stay in that place, in that horrible job, or in that horrible relationship, or in that addiction. There is something that you enjoy by being in the situation. And that might be not taking a responsibility, not coming into your own power, right? Like having enough discipline, right? Having a certain amount of strength, like having a certain amount of honesty, right? So this is when you need to always tap and go into the driver's seat of your life and saying like, okay, I'm changing the direction and I am detaching myself from a certain situation, and not with an attachment to even thinking, oh God, then it will be better, right? Because then you would be again attached to an emotion. You should detach yourself by knowing you want to trust the flow of life and you want to go and your soul wants to expand and you want to grow and you don't move away from something already with a detachment of thinking, oh, when I move to this place, it will be better, because then you are again attached to a certain experience. You are thinking the grass is greener on the other side. And then, of course, what will happen? You will end up there and then you will be attached again to the emotion and the experience you had in the previous place you are running away from. And this is why we also end up in same relationships. And then we're asking ourselves, why is this happening again to me? Why am I always ending up or attracting unavailable partner? Or why am I always attracting this kind of business relationships? So it's always two parts, right? This is the paradox. We are always seeing something that is showed to us as a mirror that we can look at and think, all right, I am attracting this or that situation because of this and that. And when you looked at it, you are able to let that go and then to trust into the flow of life. So do I do I actually accumulate more things than I use or I need, right? Coming back to the story that I was moving out and I was leaving everything behind. And I, of course, left some things still in Germany at the place of my family. And very often, when you put things into a storage, you will realize you don't think about those things ever again. So, very often, we think we are so attached to things, but the Aparigraha principle in yoga is also telling to you that the more you detach yourself from the things, right? The more easy it will be for you, right? This is why some people, for example, they actually would love to move somewhere else, but they are so detached. They are so detached to their environment. They are so detached to what they know. They are so detached to their family and friends. And I'm not saying you should become a lonely spiritual aspirant who's like just disconnecting from everything and turning inward, because that's actually not the way. Also, in our practice, we are not disconnecting. We are actually and should actually connect. In your meditation, you should not think anything around you is not happening. You should welcome everything that is there. You should welcome everything, every feeling, everything that is going on within you and in the world. So just check in with yourself. What do you have at home? Do you really need these 10 body lotions? Do you really need, if you have that, do you really need those 10 creams? Do you really need all these type of herbs in your kitchen, right? Like, what can you let go of? Can you, if you buy something, ask yourself, did I needed that yesterday? If not, don't buy it, right? I was just reading that a few days ago, and that really stick with me, right? If you buy new clothes, right? I mean, some of you maybe recognize that. I mean, it was I loved it. Like I received that with happiness when people tell me, "Oh, you have so beautiful clothes, and what you wear is looks so nice." And actually, like, I'm wearing, since I moved out from Germany, since 5 years, very often, if people would look at, I'm wearing same things. I find pieces, I find my pieces. I usually don't buy in like mainstream shops my stuff. That maybe happens very randomly, or I get something gifted. But normally, only when I travel, I buy at markets, especially in Ibiza. I have my best dresses from Ibiza. Or in Bali, I was in a very beautiful organic store, and I was really wearing that dress till literally now. It was so hard for me to let it go. But you see, it was hard to let it go. But I really couldn't repair it again. It was 3 times at my grandmother's place. So Nelly, the legend, she like literally repaired my this outfit and a lot of my outfits. And this is what you need to ask yourself: what do you want to get something, and then really take care of it, right? Take care of your phone, take care of your laptop, right? Like cleaning it, organizing the storage, right? All these things have to do with being in a minimalistic lifestyle and really thinking, do you take good care of those things? Because if we do that, then we live also by the yogic principles, and we actually also over don't consumption things. And again, that doesn't mean you only need to have one outfit, or you need to live like in the forest, right? Like, you can have your things also when whatever. If you want to have this luxury bag, if you want to invest in this luxury bag, if you think it has a good quality, if you want to drive this car, no matter what it is, you can. But also, first question: do you define your value about that car or about the Chanel bag? Do you think people will think more about you when you wear this watch or that Chanel bag? Or if you get out of that Mercedes, right? Like, do you care about what other people think? And then when we come to Kundalini yoga, there's the saying like, if your presence is not enough, then you haven't been doing the work, right? And those people who define you by your title or your number or your fame think if you want to be also, what is the right word? To be like defined with those people, right? Is this really then like, is it really important for you to have the acknowledgement then also of of these people, right? And that's just what we need to understand. Like, why do you want something, right? Why do you want to achieve certain things in your life, right? It's very different to say, like, I want that certificate or that degree because I want to have this experience and I want to develop myself in something, right? I personally do not believe in any certifications or degrees or something, right? It's just the truth for me that I think a lot of this is absolute, in a way, bullshit, right? I do believe that what you like in already started with school, right? I mean, in school, how people define who you are and what you can, and blocking then if you have lower school degrees a path for you that you are not able to study certain things because you're judged by your mark. I don't believe into that and into the school system at all. I believe that wisdom and knowledge and studying things is great. And I do believe, I do believe, and I think everyone should have the right to study whatever they want. And by that, everyone is able to follow their calling, right? Of course, we at Q Yoga, it's my mission to train people to become yoga teachers, but not that I think, oh, the certification that I'm giving them makes them, then they are allowed to teach something. No, the certification is just a byproduct. It's about the journey. I am offering the trainings to people who say, oh, wow, that is so amazing. I want to learn more about that. I want to do this experience. I want to change from the inside out. And yes, maybe then I want to teach because then maybe I resonate with the teachings and I want to spread them. Or I do the training and I realize that something else is for me, right? I was years ago when I started to teach, I was teaching a class and a woman was just doing one class with me and she said she quit her job and she changed her profession and she didn't become a yoga teacher, but through the path of realization she found out what she would love to do. And this is just my whole intention with my work, with delivering the teachings with you. Like, I am, and I try to live with all of that what I'm sharing with you, right? And I'm just giving my best as we all can, right? And we all learn and we all make mistakes. And still, with what do you identify yourself with? And for what do you do what you do in your life? You always need to ask yourself that. For who do you do that? Right? And this is sometimes when it gets interesting then in family constellations, because when we are entangled with our ancestors and are still holding on, let's say, even to ancestral karma, then we might do things in our life that actually doesn't feel like they are coming from us, or that are actually choices that we would do. But this would be now a different topic. So we want to come to the third question. Where do I postpone peace till I reach a certain goal? And this question, actually, I can resonate very much with that, because I think that when we are on a mission, then we can very often just see the mission and see the end goal. And maybe this is also something very typically, I don't know, maybe a Capricorn thing and maybe a German thing, to really not count all your small achievements and all the small steps. And this is really something that I am reminding myself always of. Do you maybe live already the dream you always dreamed of, right? So very often when we are on our journey and we start to change ourselves and to change our inner reality. And when we're doing that, our outer reality will change and we will realize, wow, the law of attraction really works. Manifestation really, really works. And I have some goals and I'm realizing that I am on my way to those goals. But can I still find peace while I'm still on that path? Or do I think I will just be relieved when I reach there? And so, this question today, this is the question to me. And like, so I need to journal about that as well. And yeah, that's really something I think we all need to be really reminded of. Like, we are the journey, we are always on the journey, we are always just in that now moment. So, detachment and aparigraha in that way would be, don't be detached to that outcome. Don't be uh, don't be attached to that outcome. Don't be attached to what you get. Let's say you are building from your own, like your own house, that you enjoy building the house, right? You enjoy building whatever you want to create, right? Let's say you would love to draw a picture, or you would love to learn a new song on your instrument, or you would love to journal, or you would love to do your practice, right? Can you enjoy the practice without being attached to the feeling after the practice? Can you enjoy the gym workout while you do the workout and not being only attached to the feeling that you get after? And this is, I think, one of the biggest life challenges for all of us to really, take a deep inhale and a deep exhale and to say, like, yes, I'm enjoying exactly where I am right now. The fourth question: what am I afraid would happen if I would truly let that go? So now I would love to speak with you about the more emotional aspect of our detachment, right? So, what do you think would happen if you would allow yourself to let the pain go, right? It doesn't have to be the pain. It can be anything, right? And without giving you here too much input, I really invite you just think a little bit about that. If there's anything right now in your life where you even think like you are bothered by that, it doesn't feel longer good. If it's a relationship, a job, anything, whatever it is, a judgment, a perception of something, what do you really believe will happen if you truly let that go? And very often, and this is the crazy part of being attached to negative emotions, is that behind the process of detaching ourselves from things and letting things go, in the moment we do that, we have to trust life. So, how can we trust life? By how can we trust life? I cannot answer that for you. But if when you trust life, you will be able to let go. And again, right, what is the intention and the goal of all the 10 yamas and niyamas? Just by picking one yama or niyama to practice, because you can see each yama and niyama from so many different angles, this will bring you to the end goal of yoga and to the feeling of samadhi and lightness. And what does that mean? Being fully in the now, being fully present, and being one with everything around you. And realizing that you are source and that you are the creator. And the more we turn inward and distracting and are not distracted by things that are happening in the outside, we will, this is of course how what I would recommend you to how to trust life and how to come more in a connection with God, is to, yes, find into stillness, to have less distractions, to have less output, less input, less input, more integration in a moment of doing nothing, especially right now in these times. Everything is so fast. We have so many informations, right? Trust that there is a guidance that is not coming only from these informations. And when you look more within and when you will become more into stillness, then you will find the trust, and then you will be able to allow yourself to detach from things and to let this experience or whatever it is go. Fifth question: where am I holding onto resentment instead of letting that go and allowing life to move freely? I already earlier touched a little bit onto that question when I was also saying that we very often have expectations. And when we have expectations, exactly as the word is already saying it, we are attached to something. We are attached to the outcome of something. We do something because we have an expectation and not because we are moving with the natural movement of our soul because we have the calling to do something. And this is the sometimes scary thing and the maybe a little bit weird part of the story, right? This is trust. This is trusting the unknown, that when you trust and when you follow a calling, you most likely don't really know where it will bring you. Or maybe you have already an idea, but that idea would still be in your mind, right? That idea would still be in your mind. And you would again be attached to an an outcome, right? So we always can check in with ourselves. The more expectations we are actually, the more expectations we are actually having, the more disconnected we are actually from what is and from ourselves and from life itself. And an invitation when we are holding on to, for example, resentment or any other emotions, sometimes it's also an invitation to sit with it and to feel it and not to blame someone else. And very often when people are blaming someone else, what do so many people do, right? They just try to delete people out of their life, or they block people because they are not longer able to look into that mirror. They are not longer able to do the work, and they are so triggered by someone that they actually think, oh my goodness, like this has nothing to do with me, this is too intense. And then people come so out of their heart and they get so much into their mind, and then the mind tells them all the most crazy stories. And then we are actually attached to the story. We are not detached from what happened. And then we are absolutely in that, we are absolutely then in all that grudge or in that emotion from resentment and from judgment. And when we block things then out, we are actually not able to really reflect and to look into the mirror and look at our own behavior and to feel whatever needs to be felt, and to go through this wave of life and to really look at, wow, why is this making me feel in that or in that way, right? Like, why is this making me why is this making me feel in a certain way? And why is it so hard to me to feel that actually? Because we can journal so much about emotions, right? We can journal so much how we want to forgive maybe even someone or let something go or do a ritual, but at the end it comes about feeling it, right? And yeah, feeling it, and by that accepting it, right? And also knowing that we cannot run away from anyone or anything, no matter to which place in the world we move, no matter if we are deleting a number from someone, right? If people do that part in relationships, like they will just meet their other teacher. Our teachers are not the teachers we go to, like in a class. Our relationships are our biggest teachers, the people around us. And they can always teach us, and they will always teach us things for becoming a more connected human being to our soul, to evolve on our soul journey. This is what every soul is here for, to evolve on our soul journey and in this lifetime. Right, Siri? My cat. Siri, okay. To us. She's so cute. And our sixth question. With what four experiences from the past I am still identifying myself with? And this is a really powerful question to really reflect about when you also, you know, no matter with what you maybe struggle in your life, like, what do you think? Oh, who do you think you are because of something that maybe happened to you or that you maybe did, right? How you acted in your life, right? Like, can you really let that story go and detach yourself from that? And that leaves me to the final and to the last question, the number 7. Who am I without my past? Who am I without my past? If now in this moment, if today with this new day, I would have like a white paper in front of me, who would I want to be? Who is this future version of myself that I am seeing? And if you see the future version of yourself, you can connect to your higher self, because your higher self is not your future version. Your higher self is God consciousness. And if you connect with your higher self, you will be able to see that future version of you, because this future version of you is already there. And this is why you can tune into this version. And this is why you also get already this informations, right? These downloads into your system that are bringing you to the path you think you do manifest, but actually that path and that sacred plan is already written for you. And this is why you get these synchronizations, because source is mirroring you, that you are on your path, you are on your track. And this is the paradox of it, because you are source, and this is why you see what is there in front of you, right? And the more we are tuning into ourselves, coming, it doesn't have to be whatever practice you do, right? It's at the end, it just always comes back to being connected to yourself, spending time in nature, coming into stillness and finding the ways that help you to tune in to this higher guidance and to your higher self. And this is what we do, for example, in Kundalini Yoga, right? We always tune in with the Adi mantra. We are tuning us in, right? But this is also a practice. And we should be never attached also to the practice, because the practice, you should never be attached to a practice, right? You shouldn't be attached to a practice to be able to tune into your higher self just through the practice, right? You should use it as a tool and know that source is always with us. We are in source, right? It's there and it will always be there. And this is the now moment of life. This is when we are tuning into the power of now. We are actually realizing, yeah, well, it makes sense, right? Like, why should I even be attached to a certain outcome or out thing, and to any success or to any material thing? Because if I'm now not happy now in this now moment, no matter where I'm traveling with this now moment too, like, nothing from the outside will change how I'm feeling on the inside. And this is why I do believe that looking inside and making the journey within is actually the only thing that matters, because it only matters how you feel within, because how you feel within will affect how you look at all the things around you, right? You will change how you look at things. And if you change how you look at things, the things you look at change, and your reality will change anyway. So, to summarize all the questions, what am I holding onto that I believe defines my value? Do I accumulate more than I actually need or use? Where do I postpone peace till I reach a certain goal? What am I afraid would happen if I actually let this go? Where am I holding on to resentment instead of allowing movement to flow? What past experiences am I identifying with? And last but not least, who am I without my past? Who am I? Who am I? That's the question of life. Satnam, everybody. I hope you could take something or a lot or whatever it was out from this journal questions, and that you might just reflect about them or taking a moment to write a little bit about them. And if you have any question that is helping you to detach yourself from things, or if you have anything that you feel you would like to share where you really feel or you struggle to let that go, or if you have any technique that helped you to let things go, and also share with me your point of detachment, your experiences with detachment, and how you figure out how to let go of things and to accept things, and your view on the topic of forgiveness. I would love to hear about that and to read about that. You can just write it here into the comments, or just send me a message. And we will see us the next time here at Kia World, your soul podcast for inner peace. Until then, wishing you all the best and a lot of blessings. Satnam.